Hi, Miss Edwards.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Rosina.
Hi, Rosina.
How are
I'm well.
you?
How are you?
Good, good. Are you comfortable?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, good. Welcome to Springfield Counseling. Like I said, my name is Rosina, so I'll be your counselor. As a matter of fact, I'll be working with you now for the next 12 weeks.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get familiar with you, get to know you, and give you a little bit of history and what will be happening while we're in our sessions. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Let me start out by explaining the insurance piece of this first. So, with the insurance, your insurance pays for up to 12 sessions. Those 12 sessions will be consecutive for the next 12 weeks. We'll meet like every Thursday at around the same time if that works for you. Is this a good time right now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great, great. So, for the next 12 weeks, we'll meet. And during the course of that time, if things are going exceptionally well and you feel comfortable after those 12 weeks, I can actually discharge you and remove you from the services. If after the 12 weeks or we're approaching the 12 week, the end of the 12 weeks, and you feel like, well, I need a little bit more time and I need to be able to counsel a little bit longer, then we can send in a request in order to extend services to your insurance company. The insurance company will then review it, and then they'll be able to tell me how many additional sessions they'd be able to pay for.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds good. In addition to that, I am a student now. I have been counseling for a number of years, but I am currently in school and I'm getting my master's in counseling. So, with that being said, my supervisor within this realm they have to be able to review how well I'm doing in my counseling sessions. So, I have to ask you if it's okay if we can video record not all but a few of our sessions.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're okay with
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
Oh, that is wonderful. So we do have a consent form.
Okay.
So you'll read over the consent, and if you're fine with that, you can give me a signature, and then we can actually start moving forward with our sessions.
Okay.
Is
Sounds
that
good.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'll give you the form to read over, and if you have any questions about anything, just let me know. Okay, wonderful. And we can actually start the video sessions effective immediately. Would you be okay with us starting
Yes, ma'am.
today?
That's fine.
Awesome. And then as my supervisor reviews them, it tells me if I'm doing well and how I can improve. So even as we move along, if you see things are getting better, it's okay for you to tell me, hey,
Okay.
Miss Campbell, things are, this is even getting better. I understand that you were coming to see a counselor in some relative to something job related. Is that the case?
Correct.
Okay, what do you do for a living?
I'm an office manager for a property management company.
Okay. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about the job.
So basically, in my role, I oversee a staff of about 6 to 10 people. Right now, we're in the middle of closing on over 50 units, which were poorly managed. So it's pretty difficult trying to bring on those 50 plus units and show them the way that we manage things.
Okay. And with that day to day, what would you say your level of stress is?
I think the biggest stress factor comes from, I guess, getting the tenants to know your way of doing things, because they're so stuck in the way that their previous landlord or previous property manager did things, that it's kind of hard to break them from that way of getting things done.
Okay. And when you are having a challenging time, what do you do in terms of self-care? How do you take care of you?
Well, I make sure I utilize my lunches and breaks while I'm at work.
Okay.
And then while I'm off the clock, I try to leave work where it's at. I don't try to bring it home. Sometimes it is hard to leave work at the office, but
And why is that hard?
Because when you have all these deadlines, you find yourself thinking of ways that you can get that deadline met. And sometimes you may dream about some of the properties, or
Mhm.
somebody has issues with infestations of rats or bed bugs. So
Wow.
yeah, sometimes you take that home with you.
Okay. Well, taking that kind of work home with you, do you find yourself at times not being able to rest at night? Or
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
noticed that you did say you had, like, I'm interpreting as the racing thoughts. You're not able to sleep well
Correct.
sometimes.
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you feel when you're not well rested?
Well, when I'm not well rested, it kind of makes the workday a lot more stressful
Mhm.
because I'm on edge. So if I'm not rested, then I may not have that same patience with the tenant as if I were well rested.
Okay. And when you're not well rested, how do you interact with your family?
I don't.
Really?
I don't.
Okay. And why is that?
Because I try to, when I'm at home and I'm not well rested, I try to separate myself so that I can obtain the rest that I need.
Oh, well, that is a good form of self care. Um, do you find yourself having any other issues outside of not being able to sleep well?
Um, Another issue I deal with, I guess, would be like the eviction side of things. Sometimes it's hard to separate your personal feelings when you are evicting someone. When you're a soft-hearted person, you really don't want to be the bad guy, but it's
Mm.
doing your job over the personal feelings.
So trying to keep that your personal emotions, kind of separated from what the business aspect of things
Correct.
is. Um, how long have you been doing this work?
Well, I've been with the company for about 3 years now.
Okay. And how long have you been the manager?
Since this past February,
Okay, so about
about
eight
8
months.
months.
About 8 months.
Yes.
And that's when it started getting more and more difficult because now you're dealing with the eviction
Correct.
portion of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how do you, when you are going through the eviction process, what exactly is that like? I mean, are there court things that you have to do, or?
Yeah, so it starts with a warning to the tenant, basically letting them know that, hey, you haven't paid your rent. So we issue out a 5-day notice, just giving them time to come in with their payments. Once the 5-day expires, if we still have not received payment, then we file, the order of eviction, and
Okay.
that's getting the tenant put out the property or either setting up a payment arrangement. Sometimes tenants may set up a payment arrangement and they can't fulfill the duties of the payment arrangement. So at the end, we still end up filing eviction. So
And that can be very difficult for
it
you.
can, yeah.
Okay, so have you ever found yourself being emotional while doing an eviction?
Yeah, I have. It was a one tenant that came into the office. She couldn't pay her payment arrangement off after the eviction was filed or whatever. We set up the payment arrangement, and she brought the babies in the office with her, and it was the
Mm.
day that the eviction was supposed to happen. So I kind of found that difficult to just be, just open and honest, say, hey, this is what it is. You can't afford to pay the rent. I just have to do what I have to do.
Mm. That's a lot of stress,
Yes, ma'am.
a lot of pressure. Well, I've been taking all of this in, and I know that we are kind of short for time
Okay.
because we are within that 45-minute time frame. I'd like to take all of the information that we just discussed. I would like for you to take some time that when you are having a stressful day, I'd like for you to take some time to even close your door at work. Do you have an office space where you
I do
can?
not.
You do not.
No.
So maybe just maybe getting up from your desk and just walking away. You said when you take those breaks, maybe going out and having some deep breathing techniques, especially when you have something that stressful, like when the young lady came in with the children and they were facing the eviction. I know that she was probably trying to use that as a way to
Right.
manipulate a
Hmm.
situation, but just keeping focused on the job and um, even having some time to be able to interact. I know you don't want to be able to take this home and transfer all of this,
Right.
And I think that it would be wise for you to be able to still interact with your family. You don't want them to have a disconnect, and I know you probably don't want one either.
Right, right.
So we'll come back to the next session. Your next session will be next week, Thursday at 5. And then tell me how it felt to just be able to just walk away, take a breath, and then come back and talk to the office. And then maybe set up a game time with your kids. And you're married, correct?
I am, yes.
Okay. Even having that interaction with your husband, and even if it's something as simple as having a board game night after work, or maybe even getting off a little bit early since you're the office manager, utilizing a little bit of that management
Right.
opportunity. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, very good. Well, I thank you for your time today, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay,
All right, thank
awesome.
you.